Like a high-tech chess game, an aircraft's movements are precise and carefully monitored by air traffic controllers. However, an airplane faces numerous perils while in flight, which can all lead to catastrophe. As air traffic increases, so does the need for advanced equipment and skilled controllers to carefully watch our skies. Though statistically, air travel is the safest mode of transportation there is, a single mishap can kill hundreds of people and inspire horror in the hearts of airline passengers throughout the world. Overcrowded skies, outdated equipment, foul weather, and acts of terrorism are all factors that can knock a plane out of the sky. With air traffic expected to double in the coming century, many travelers and experts are wondering if emerging technologies can make the skies safe.
Man cannot fly. The thing that sometimes scares me about flying is that the thought that there are so many planes in the air at one time.
Each year, our skies become more crowded, each added flight inching us toward disaster. NASA Administrator Dan Golden has predicted that without updates in air traffic control technology, by the year 2010, we will experience at least one catastrophic airline accident per week. When man first set his sights on the challenge of flight, he could not have begun to comprehend the changes that would follow. On December 17, 1903, at 10:35 a.m., there was exactly one airplane carrying exactly one passenger in the sky above us. Today, there are thousands of flights per day carrying more than 2 million passengers. When we travel on a commercial airliner, there's always a highly qualified pilot flying the plane. But every move the pilot makes, from takeoff to landing, is orchestrated by someone on the ground. Despite its chaotic appearance, controlling air traffic is actually a precise and logical event.
Harrisburg 8564, Denver Tower, runway 35, left turn, left heading 240, clear for takeoff.
Each time you fly, your airplane's journey through the air traffic control system begins on the runway. Once the airport control tower issues a departure clearance, your plane is passed, like a baton in a relay race, through a series of air traffic facilities. The first is called a Terminal Control Facility, or TRACON. The TRACON is responsible for all airplanes in the vicinity of an airport that are either taking off or landing.
472 LA Center Cross, crew at maintain 1000.
The TRACON passes your plane onto the next facility, the Control Center. 20 en route centers across the U.S. control aircraft while they are at cruising altitude. Each airplane follows a highway of ground-based navigational aids. A controller on the ground assigns your plane's altitude and its course.
Navigation, climb, maintain flight level 230.
Once your flight is ready to land, it is again passed to the tower.
Skywatch 244, keep it rolling.
Usually, the air traffic control system goes unnoticed. However, events beyond anyone's control can create chaos.
Proceeding MD-80 out of...
In 1997, a 5-minute power failure in the Kansas City Control Center left air traffic controllers with blank radar screens and silent communications. While the panicked controllers scrambled for their cell phones, commercial airliners were flying blind with thousands of lives at risk. Because the air traffic control system is nationally integrated, the disruption at the Kansas City Center resulted in canceled flights and widespread delays throughout the country.
What happens in one city affects what happens in another city. So if you're sitting in an airplane in Chicago on the taxiway and the weather is good and there's not too many airplanes around you and you're wondering as a passenger, why am I sitting here? Why don't they move me? It very well could be that they don't want to get you in the air than to have you circling in a holding pattern over Denver.
To coordinate air traffic control, the Federal Aviation Administration has established a facility that is unique in the world, the Systems Command Center in Herndon, Virginia. This is the nerve center of the National Air Traffic Control System. It is staffed not by controllers, but by traffic managers. Unlike controllers who direct individual aircraft, traffic managers coordinate traffic flows throughout the country.
You may have a situation on the West Coast where you have fog at San Francisco International Airport and Los Angeles International. However, on the East Coast, you have aircraft ready to depart 3 or 4 hours earlier in the morning than those folks are even waking up. Someone has to coordinate and juggle all of this traffic. That's done through our System Command Center.
Like a high-tech Wall Street brokerage firm making buy and sell orders, the deals the traffic managers make over the phone are designed to keep air traffic moving safely and efficiently.
On any given day, we may have as many as 5,500 or 6,000 aircraft airborne at one time, transiting the airspace over the United States, and they ensure that when the airplanes arrive at the airport, they arrive in an orderly fashion.
The command center tracks each and every flight over the U.S. and beyond. One click of the mouse provides information such as flight number, altitude, destination, everything short of what's playing on the in-flight movie. The center can also calculate the effects of an airport weather delay upon hundreds of flights across the country.
Okay, this is Turret Central. I need you to expedite getting Southwest 1157 into San Francisco LC.
In the command center, traffic managers have the ability to contact any plane flying in U.S. airspace and intervene during emergency situations.
Okay, United 227 coming up on Sydney, inbound to Denver. Got a sick passenger on board, and they're asking for some help.
With air traffic expected to triple by the year 2010, the capabilities of the command center will be put to the test. But the impact will be felt most dramatically in the nearly 600 air traffic control facilities throughout the United States and among the 17,000 individuals who work in them.
763, join Victor 389.
If the traffic managers are the generals up on the hill, then the air traffic controllers are the foot soldiers in the mud. It's the controllers who are responsible for keeping planes moving safely and on time.
935 heavy, crossway 25 right through, right on Bravo, contact. 17 right.
Tin pushers, keepers of the concrete. The Hollywood image of a steel-nerved maverick guiding in a disabled aircraft on a wing and a prayer has inspired many nicknames. But few of us know what an air traffic controller actually does.
Well, the pilots fly the planes, but I think it's the controllers that tell them what to do. I'm sure there's a system.
Who do I think controls the plane? Unknown forces.
People think that air traffic controllers monitor aircraft, at least some people do. Air traffic controllers actually guide airplanes by issuing instructions that cause pilots to make turns, make descents, reduce speed, whatever's necessary to keep the airplanes in an even flow.
The air traffic control system can never sleep. For every airplane that lands, another takes off. Controllers continually juggle the lives of airborne passengers 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
One thing that's similar to being a juggler is that if you're a controller and you don't have the ability to look in more than one direction, to focus on more than one thing at a time, then you're in trouble.
Turn left second high speed and remain this frequency, which you gated.
An air traffic controller's job is very, very demanding. Some of the cognitive skills that are required by a controller are, in my estimation, absolutely amazing.
The tower has control of an aircraft from the time it leaves the gate until takeoff. En route control centers, located strategically throughout the country, handle aircraft at cruising altitude.
Air Force One, contact LA Center 128.37.
In the dark and windowless environment of these en route centers, controllers never see actual aircraft, much less the light of day. They must rely on radar scopes to be their eyes. Each controller is responsible for a given airspace with critical information such as altitude and airspeed passed from one controller to the next on strips of paper called flight strips. As planes fan out over the country, controllers must issue instructions to make sure planes don't arrive all at once at any given location. All the different facilities must work as a team to keep airplanes safely separated.
And maintain 6,000 of it.
Once a controller in the airport tower is able to establish visual contact with an aircraft, that aircraft then becomes his or her responsibility.
What the controller sees is a string of airplanes about 3 miles apart, which he can also observe on his radar. He has a beautiful sight, but he also knows that his work is cut out for him because he's got quite a few airplanes coming in.
It is the sheer volume of traffic that contributes most to a controller's stress level. The United States alone handles more than 50% of the world's air traffic. At the major airports, this can mean an enormous amount of aircraft converging from all across the country.
The mix of traffic and complexity has increased a lot. Volume has increased, so when you start losing control, either by losing radar, losing radios, or possibly having an airplane do something other than what you intended him to do, that becomes very stressful.
With a high turnover rate, the controller profession has long been considered one of the most demanding and stressful jobs in the world. In August of 1981, the air traffic controllers went on strike for more compensation and better working conditions. They were subsequently fired by the Reagan administration. The Federal Aviation Administration was forced to train a new workforce from the ground up. But the new workforce was a much smaller one, training in an environment of ever-increasing air traffic.
We have had people who trained as air traffic controllers who did exceedingly well in their training and looked like they were going to make excellent controllers, who all of a sudden would say, this is as far as I go. I can't go any further. I can't handle anymore.
Thank you. United 1499, every tower, runway 16, wind 130.
You're looking at sometimes 4 to 5 hours sleep is all between shifts, and that includes your commute, hassles and headaches.
Much of the congestion from airplane traffic occurs not in the air, but on the ground. Some of the most deadly airline accidents occur on these overcrowded runways. On the night of February 1st, 1991, a U.S. Air 737 was cleared to land on what was thought to be an open runway at Los Angeles International Airport. When the 737's nose gear touched down, it crashed into a stopped commuter plane. The planes skidded off the runway and collided with a building. Both were engulfed by fire, and 34 people were killed. A new warning system has been developed to help controllers prevent these runway tragedies. It's a system which takes information from a radar that sees everything on the runways and compares it with information from a radar that tracks incoming planes. If a conflict is anticipated, it warns the controllers both visually and verbally.
Caution, 03, center.
In the case of the LAX tragedy, the system would have allowed a controller enough time to contact the 737 and instruct the pilot to abort the landing. A major contributor to controller stress is outdated equipment. Today's average laptop computer is more powerful than some of the computers on which a controller must rely.
The existing display equipment, both in the en route control centers and in the terminal centers, has reached the end of its useful life. What we need to do is be able to change and take advantage of the new technologies that are available.
You can get rid of that last 842.
Air traffic control computers and display equipment are presently being overhauled. Advanced computer workstations will help to ease controllers' workloads by putting more power and information at their fingertips. Multicolored monitors will help controllers identify individual aircraft. Higher resolution screens will enable them to emerge from the dark.
United 68, climb and maintain 3,000.
Turn right immediately heading 270, climb and maintain 6,000.
Communication is one of the weakest links in air traffic control. Language barriers and misunderstandings can lead to disaster.
We have in the air traffic control system every day many misunderstandings, miscommunications. Controllers sometimes anticipate what pilots are going to say. Pilots often anticipate what controllers are going to say. And that's not what's said at all, and neither party hears what's said.
Miscommunication between the control tower and pilot led to the biggest disaster in aviation history when two 747s collided on a runway at Tenerife in the Canary Islands. In this 1977 crash, 583 people were killed.
Explore your world.
Daytime. They've got the scoop on everything.
With interior decorating, recreation ideas, health tips, hobbies, home repair,
Gourmet food.
see for yourself.
It's not one thing.
It's everything.
Where do I start? Daytime on the Discovery Channel.
What's wrong?
Phone bill came.
Dad's mad?
Very mad.
Feeling bad?
Feeling dumb.
How come?
Didn't dial 10-10-321.
10-10-321.
Should have dialed 10-10-321.
Cheaper than AT&T?
On every call in the U.S.
Anything else?
50% off all calls over 20 minutes.
50%?
50%.
Day or night?
Night or day.
What about international?
Great rates.
Just dial 10-10-321.
Then one, and the number as usual.
No fees?
No sign up.
Just dial.
And save.
Wow, you are dumb.
The tallest mountain in North America is 20,320 feet. Cool.
You don't get in this kind of shape running on a treadmill. You do it with strength exercise, and I do it with a Bowflex. You know, if you're not working out with strength training right now, you need to. Because if you want to lose weight, you got to add the muscle, and that's why you need a Bowflex machine. It's like nothing else you've ever tried before. We've got over 60 exercises you can do on a Bowflex. You're never going to get bored. You can do a full workout in 20 minutes on a Bowflex machine. You're not going to believe how effective Bowflex is the first time you get on it. Bowflex may look a little different, but that's because we designed it to function correctly. Bowflex uses power rod resistance. Bowflex power rods are so effective that Bowflex guarantees results in 6 weeks or your money back. Try going to the gym and getting a guarantee on results. You won't find it. If you call and get our free videotape, you're going to see an effective workout and see how easy and quick and fun working out with Bowflex is.
From the Discovery Channel and ABC News, Discovery Newsbreak.
Good evening. Officials in Papua New Guinea estimate the death toll from Friday's 23-foot tsunami wave could be as high as 3,000. The wave was caused by a magnitude 7 undersea earthquake. And scientists are now studying volcanic vents recently brought to the surface from 8,000 feet under the Pacific. They hope to gain insight into the origins of life on Earth. That's Discovery Newsbreak.
Property.
People ask me why I named my dog after my truck. Well, I'll show you. Come here, Ranger. Ranger the truck has a big V6 and switch-on four-wheel drive, which means it can go anywhere it wants. Ranger the dog has huge paws and big teeth, and he goes wherever he wants. Ranger the truck is built tough, and Ranger the dog is built, well, just look at him.
And now get Ford Ranger with 0.9 financing or up to $1,000 cash back.
One more similarity, anti-theft device.
Please do not cross ropes. Do not use key.
Introducing the only compact import truck with 4 doors. The all-new Mazda B-Series Cab Plus 4. V6 power.
Whoa. Yeah.
4 doors.
In the works are improvements for communication between the controllers and the pilots. By By the year 2000, routine communications will be conducted via computer, with radio communications reserved for emergency situations. Computer-to-computer communication will eliminate language barriers and rule out misunderstandings.
Computers are not going to misunderstand. Computers are going to make the system accurate from day one.
One thing that will contribute to aviation safety in the future is the advancement of aircraft and cockpit technology. When the skies become too crowded, the last line of defense will always be the pilot. Traffic accidents on the streets are a routine occurrence, but there's no such thing as a fender bender at 15,000 feet. When airplanes touch in midair, no one is likely to walk away.
The thing that sometimes scares me about flying is that the thought that there are so many planes in the air at one time.
I hate to fly. It scares me to death every time.
On the morning of September 25th, 1978, a Pacific Southwest Airlines 727 inbound for Lindbergh Field in San Diego lost sight of an outbound Cessna. The planes collided, resulting in the deaths of 137 people. A collision in the sky over India in 1996 between a Saudi Arabian 747 and a Kazakh air cargo plane was the worst mid-air collision in aviation history. 349 people died.
Gears down 3 green, landing flap set 40, and final check is complete.
It is not only the air traffic controller who is put to the test when the skies become crowded. The pilot bears the ultimate responsibility for your safety.
It's become more difficult in the 90s because we have to put up with more aircraft in the sky and resulting delays from more aircraft because the sky doesn't get much bigger. With more aircrafts in the sky, there's more opportunity for mid-air collisions.
Pilots today have access to an amazing new technology which helps them avoid mid-air collisions. Many planes have a device in the cockpit which notifies the pilot when other aircraft are within a 40-mile radius. Planes appear as icons on the cockpit display. If an aircraft gets within 10 miles, the pilot receives a verbal warning.
Traffic alert, traffic alert.
As the aircraft converge, the pilot is instructed to take evasive action.
Descend. Descend.
But this new system only works if both planes have the equipment. Another device can warn pilots if they are getting too close to the ground. The system uses sensors to monitor the path of the airplane versus the surrounding and approaching terrain. The computer issues a variety of alerts to prevent crashes.
Glide slope. Glide slope.
The warning system also creates a virtual floor that changes through the course of a flight. As the aircraft ascends from the airport, the floor gains altitude along with the plane, providing a constant reference point for safety. As the plane descends back into the airport, the floor descends with it.
Too low. Gear. Too low.
The software contains a powerful database of the world's topography. An onboard monitor gives a detailed topographical picture of the ground and issues a warning a full minute before potential impact.
Pull up.
To establish an aircraft's position, the warning system uses a piece of technology that is revolutionizing aviation navigation, the Global Positioning System. GPS works by using 24 satellites continuously transmitting a signal to the aircraft. Using coordinates from 4 separate satellites, the plane's approximate position can be determined.
We probably are the most demanding users of the Global Positioning System. We have to not only have 2-dimensional surface reference, but we have to have the 3rd dimension, the height reference associated with GPS.
Though GPS is accurate to within 300 feet, that's not nearly accurate enough for aviation. To exploit this navigational tool to its fullest extent, a series of ground stations are used to enhance the GPS signal. When the enhanced signal is transmitted to an aircraft, The margin of error is reduced from 300 feet to less than 10 feet.
Southwest 1191, Manchester now, Delta 10, Delta Gate.
Using GPS, a new concept in aviation is being developed known as free flight. The current system requires the pilot to fly a course over ground-based navigational aids. The course is not always the most efficient one for the pilot, but it's a safe one because the plane flies a prescribed jet route, and the controllers on the ground know the location of every plane. With the power of GPS, free flight will allow pilots to fly a direct route from point to point. The free flight concept works by keeping aircraft a safe distance apart. The principle is based on two virtual airspace zones around the aircraft. The outside zone is called the alert zone. If the alert zones touch, the pilots will change their courses until the zones are no longer in contact. Safe flying dictates that the inside zone, or protected zone, should never meet the protected zone of another aircraft.
Roger, American 278, clear to land, runway 1 right.
In many ways, this Herculean leap in technology is actually a step back in time.
In the original time frame of air traffic, free flight was the way people flew. You got into an airplane, you went where you wanted to, but it wasn't the safest means of travel.
Free flight is making the old way of flying safe again. But there's nothing old-fashioned about the technology in the cockpit. The cockpit of the future will have a multifunctional display which will include a moving map, a display of terrain, weather, and a readout of other aircraft.
1119, never tire, runway 16, clear to land number 3, follow
The pilot of the future will have access to much of the same information in the cockpit that today's air traffic controllers have on their radar scopes. In the future, free flight will not eliminate the controller, but it will change the face of air traffic control.
How come the leading oil filter material stops less dirt than Mobil 1's filter material? That's how come the Mobil 1 oil filter. Nothing stops dirt better. Available at AutoZone or call for the retailer nearest you.
It starts with the finest two-row barley, caramel roasted for a rich, full-bodied flavor. Then married with a blend of hand-picked domestic and imported hops. In this time-honored craft, perfection can now be found in an exceptional-tasting, non-alcohol brew. Introducing O'Doul's Amber from Anheuser-Busch. It's what to ask for when all you want is taste.
For everyone trying to beat the clock, Sprint introduces a world where time is finally on your side.
Time is on my side. Yes, it is.
Introducing Sprint Sense Anytime. Just sign up for Sprint Long Distance now, and you'll pay just 10 cents a minute, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So now you can feel free to call anywhere you want, anytime you want, for as long as you want.
Time is on my side.
With Sprint, you can call anytime you have time. Call anyone you want, anywhere you want, anytime you want, for just a dime a minute. But you've got to call Sprint first. Then you can stop watching the clock and start enjoying your conversations. Put time on your side. With Sprint, it's just a dime, anytime. Don't wait.
Time is on my side.
Call now, 1-800-917-6060.
Next, travel to Ecuador as an ancient tribe struggles to keep its culture alive on Wildest of Tribes. Then our society works to keep our children safe on Justice Files. And they're creepy, they're crawly, and very dangerous. Deadly bugs on Wild Discovery coming up. Tomorrow on Wild Discovery, for centuries they have made this journey, have been the center of this world. Find out why some things never change on Wild Discovery. Tomorrow at 9 Mountain, 8 Pacific on the Discovery Channel.
Despite all the technology man has devised to control air traffic, we have not devised a way to control the destructive forces of nature.
I am uneasy when I fly in bad weather.
Flying in turbulence is really scary.
I think everybody, when there's a lot of turbulence, might wonder, is this thing going to come apart?
On a stormy day above Dallas in August of 1985, Delta Flight 191 encountered a microburst, one of the most feared and deadly phenomena in aviation. Computer-generated animation by the National Transportation Safety Board, as well as the actual cockpit radio transmissions, make it possible to recreate the last moments of the flight. A microburst is an intense and concentrated downdraft of wind, usually associated with a thunderstorm. When the downdraft meets the ground, it creates a severe change in wind direction called wind shear, which can cause a plane to suddenly lose altitude.
When the pilot hears the word microburst, they're gone. They're going around, or they're aborting their takeoff, whichever.
In Dallas, the microburst thrust Delta Flight 191 into the ground. 135 people died.
That was a classic case of microburst on the end of the runway, pilot landing in a very strong wind shear from which it was simply basically impossible to recover. The pilot lost so much airspeed that the flight path intercepted the ground, if you will.
Winds at altitude are quite a bit at the moment.
While microbursts are mostly associated with thunderstorms, other instances of severe turbulence can occur entirely without warning. Flight attendants always encourage you to keep your seatbelts fastened. On December 30th, 1997, the passengers of a United 747 outbound from Tokyo found out why. The flight was smooth and uneventful until the aircraft suddenly plummeted more than 1,000 feet into an invisible chasm of air. Passengers were hurled into the overhead compartments and thrown about the cabin. The pilots were able to regain control of the aircraft, but several passengers were injured, one fatally. The plane had encountered a gut-wrenching and terrifying phenomenon known as clear air turbulence. Clear air turbulence usually occurs downwind of mountains or at the jet stream levels, and as the name implies, it occurs in the absence of any clouds.
Clear air turbulence is a widespread phenomenon. It's not easy to forecast it, and we have a difficult time actually pinning down exactly where turbulence occurs, because one of the few measuring instruments we have is the airplane itself. We're developing a system by which commercial jetliners would automatically downlink turbulence reports. And we hope to have a few hundred airplanes, say in a year, that are telling us automatically where this turbulence takes place.
Icing is another problem that airplanes must contend with. The buildup of ice on an airplane can adversely affect its performance. In cold weather, airplanes are routinely de-iced prior to flight. Pilots can also de-ice during flight, but they are often not aware of the problem until it is too late.
The pilots will fly through a cloud on one day and the cloud's just a nice fluffy cloud. But the next day they may fly through that same cloud and experience severe icing.
The pilots of an American Eagle commuter plane had no reason to believe that they were in any danger while they were circling in a holding pattern over Roselawn, Indiana on Halloween Day of 1994. Without warning, their aircraft rolled out of control and plummeted from the sky. 68 people died.
It's hard to say exactly what was going through the pilot's mind, but he probably didn't know that there was icing or the icing was as severe as it was, because it's very hard for a pilot to determine this from looking out the window. It's the amount of liquid water in the snowflakes, not the visibility, that really determines the hazard.
The challenge for aviation has been to provide controllers with an integrated weather system that enables them to furnish precise warnings to pilots well in advance of any danger.
Aviation is affected by very small-scale weather patterns, and a forecast for partly cloudy with a 30% chance of showers is not going to work for the aviation. folks. You've got to know exactly where the clouds are. You have to know where the turbulence is, where icing is very specifically at the instant it's happening, plus about 2 hours ahead of time. That's the type of information we're trying to provide with these new systems.
Today, controllers are provided with integrated weather readouts that are accurate and easy to use. Displays in the system's command center provide air traffic managers with the information to anticipate weather delays and coordinate the flow of air traffic. To predict microbursts in and around airports, the National Center for Atmospheric Research in Boulder, Colorado, has developed the most sophisticated aviation weather system in the world, called Terminal Doppler Weather Radar.
If the radar detects the microburst, it also sees the wind because it's a Doppler radar and determines exactly where it is, how strong it is, where it is relative to the runways, and will also give a warning of location, intensity, and type of wind shear.
Wind shear, wind shear, wind shear.
The same technology that keeps airline passengers in America safe from the ravages of weather is now being used all over the world. Hong Kong's new multi-billion-dollar airport is situated tightly in the shadow of a large mountain, creating dangerous turbulence and wind shear. Scientists designed a system specifically for Hong Kong to forecast and detect these conditions. The system gives pilots instant access to the location of wind shear, and it gives Hong Kong's air traffic planners an 18-hour warning to the types of weather associated with turbulence and microbursts.
We've applied the most advanced technologies available today. So in terms of terminal weather hazards, we feel that the Hong Kong airport's probably the most advanced in the world.
In the future, pilots will rely on 3D animation displays in the cockpit. The monitors will predict different weather patterns such as thunderstorms, microbursts, and even tornadoes.
The future of air traffic control and flying in this country is going to change very dramatically in the next 10 to 20 years. This is going to require a whole new suite of technologies. And in the weather area, it's going to require that the pilot have the information he needs to make instant decisions.
Weather also affects pilots while they're on the ground. Clear vision is critical for maneuvering on crowded runways. Poor visibility can lead to disaster. In dense fog at Detroit on December 3rd, 1990, Northwest Flight 299, a 727, had taxied into position and begun its takeoff roll. Unbeknownst to the crew, a Northwest DC-9 had become lost in the fog and taxied onto the wrong runway, nearly a quarter mile from where the control tower had instructed it to go. The 727 had no time to stop before it plowed into the DC-9. 8 people were killed. Today's technology can prevent these types of disasters. NASA has developed a camera which enables pilots to see through dense fog. While this camera enhances vision, another device that is being developed projects a virtual image of what the human eye would see in clear visibility. It also provides a moving map display of the runways and warns both the pilot and the controller if the aircraft is not where it should be. Even in zero visibility, the plane can safely navigate into its takeoff position.
Traffic. Cleared to cross.
The plane taxis into position, and via data link, the tower issues a clearance to take off.
The 647, taxi 2 will be the copy you had.
Landing a plane in zero visibility is an entirely different challenge. Today's technology allows a computer to land a plane without the aid of a pilot. In a Cat 3 or zero visibility situation, computers on the ground are linked to computers on the plane. The aircraft lands by itself.
If you're landing in a Cat 3 situation, the visibility is basically zero at the airport. So the computers on the airplane and the navigation equipment, they have complete control at that point of the airplane. A few seconds before landing and maybe 100 feet above the ground, you see the airport magically appear before your eyes, and it's a miracle every time you see it.
50,
The technology is extremely safe. It will make a believer out of you to sit up there in the front and watch it happen.
I've got some great ideas for a website. We could have a spinning logo or a flaming logo.
You know what would be a great idea? If people with PCs anywhere could order our products, and that was all tied together, inventory, billing, vendors, you know, the works, then that would change everything.
I don't know how to do that.
By the end of the week, 7 more lives will be saved. By the end of the day, 16 people who couldn't walk will. By the end of the hour, these special filters will help make 25,000 more gallons of water ready for drinking. And by the end of this message, 1 more premature baby will be protected. All of which is made possible with the help of a material we call plastic.
This is Imagine TV.
We are looking for a man in a new Mercury Cougar. Exactly like this one. He's a dangerous double agent and a master of disguise.
Haven't seen him.
Sidetrack. Saber-toothed reptiles, terror birds, giant sea predators, bizarre, never-before-seen prehistoric species come to life. Explore. Travel back in a virtual time machine as paleo experts explain what these creatures looked like, how they lived, and how they all eventually perished. Go inside the Extinction Files. Next Monday at 10 Mountain, 9 Pacific on the Discovery Channel. Explore your world.
Please do not cross ropes. Do not use key.
Introducing the only compact import truck with 4 doors. The all-new Mazda B-Series Cab Plus 4. V6 power.
Whoa. Yeah.
4 doors.
Men, if you suffer with sexual problems, you're not alone. Over 30 million men are suffering also. I'm Bob Mullen, Director of Operations of Men's Focus Health Centers. For years I've been talking on TV about this very personal subject. The good news is impotence can be treated. Men's Focus Health Centers are state-of-the-art medical facilities dedicated solely to the successful treatment of male impotence. Make the call that will change your life. I know it will, because I've been there.
Weather is not the only external factor that can bring down a plane.
The reality of aviation travel has changed dramatically. 40 to 50 years ago, it was the privilege of the elite, the few, the wealthy. Now it's basically the bus of the 21st century. That's how you get home to see mom. That's how you go back to school. That's how you move from point A to point B.
Terrorists realize that by attacking aircraft, you can have a very large impact on the world's media and make a point that won't be just confined to one area of the world, but that will be worldwide.
Once they get airborne, planes are vulnerable. Because they're pressurized, and once you get at particular altitudes, if the skin of that airplane is breached, it can be catastrophic. The notion of getting blown out of the sky at 12,000, 15,000, 25,000 feet is something that I think strikes everyone with particular horror.
On December 21st, 1988, passengers experienced this horror when a bomb exploded in the cargo hold of a Pan Am 747 over Lockerbie, Scotland. 272 people were killed.
You know, it'd be one thing to sit back and tell everybody you don't have anything to worry about. The system is very tight. It's very secure. That's not the case. Domestically in the United States, there is virtually no protection against the possibility of a bomb being put on board an airplane.
New technology will be changing that. This device can detect a wide variety of explosive materials. It's called the CTX 5000, and it's already been installed at a few major airports domestically and in Europe. The system works like a CAT scan to detect an array of explosive materials, materials that could not be found with a traditional X-ray device. Other instruments can be used to detect microscopic traces of explosives on bags or even on clothes.
What people will be noticing is the increased use of these chemical sniffers, or so-called trace detectors, at airports where people go through the checkpoint.
The trace detector is a portal through which travelers pass. As a tiny puff of air is blown on the passenger or bag, the detector breathes the air and chemically analyzes it. It's the high-tech version of a dog's nose.
These trace detectors work very well. They are able to detect explosives in very minute quantities and many, many kinds of explosives, including plastics.
There's a need to invest in technology. The tendency has been you wait until there's a disaster before you do something about it. It needs to be approached from the standpoint of we can't even afford one person putting one bomb on any airplane.
Besides security checks and metal detectors, there is another line of defense. You may not even be aware of their existence, and if all goes well, you will never see them. They are the Federal Air Marshals, or FAMs for short. Seen here training in a live fire exercise, their faces are concealed to protect their identities.
We have about 800 agents out in the field from whom we draw the force of FAMs. They're men and women that fly on U.S. carriers anywhere in the world, particularly those carriers that we assess to be under slightly higher than normal threat. And they're well-trained and need high physical, tactical, and firearm skills. And they're prepared to use deadly force. They are not a military operation, and they are not a special forces operation. They're a law enforcement operation.
Lights on, exercise scenario in play, cruising at altitude.
As the mission of the FAMs is to thwart skyjacking, their training is uniquely tailored to the logistics of the only environment in which they will ever operate, on an airplane in midair.
It's an environment that's very fragile. We're flying at 33,000 feet. There are innocent passengers, and you have to remember that you can't stop something you start up there. You have to be able to finish it.
Shrouded in secrecy, officials cannot comment on the role the FAMs have played in thwarting attempted skyjackings. The heroics of the air marshals have never been reported or publicized. Perhaps the greatest weapon in their arsenal is the fact that their identities are unknown.
They could be on any U.S. airline or flight anywhere in the world. You won't know if you're sitting next to an air marshal. They will blend into the passenger base. They could be male. They could be female. They could be Caucasian. They could be Afro-American. They could be Hispanic. They could be Asian. They could be large. They could be small. They will be fit. They will be trained. They will be ready.
The worst was I'd be at a party and someone would light up a cigarette, and that cigarette would look like filet mignon to me. My mouth would practically water. Without Nicorette gum, I could never have quit. I could chew a piece when I needed it, and I would regain control, and it would soothe my cravings fast. After a piece of Nicorette, a cigarette would only look like Top Round to me, and that I could resist.
Nicorette gum helps you fight your cravings, your habit, your way. You can do it. Nicorette can help.
This is great. Nice and roomy. Powerful, too. Where to next?
Sir, would you like to take it for a test drive?
Yeah, sure.
Discover Toyota's new V8-powered Land Cruiser. Everywhere, every day.
Dad, aren't you forgetting something?
Oh, right. 10-10-3-2-1.
You were the one who told me we save over AT&T on every call if we dial 10-10-3-2-1, then 1, and then the number.
I love when you listen to me.
Yeah, we even save 50% on calls over 20 minutes.
That's right. You know, last month we were on the phone with your grandmother for a half an hour, and it cost less than $2.
So I guess, Dad, the only thing you have to do is remember to dial 10-10-3-2-1 first. So remember...
10-10-3-2-1. I got it.
you still have your pay stubs from your college job?
Why would they need that?
You never know.
You're in awfully early this morning.
Good morning.
At Countrywide Home Loans, we've put our branch managers in charge of the entire home loan process.
Honey, I could sure use those statements.
Still looking.
We have no loan committee.
Hi, it's Peter Mooney, just checking in again.
Well, Peter, I think I have everything I need from you.
Are you sure? If you want me to, I can just
So with people in every branch with the power to say yes, we're very fast.
Back to 1982. So when do you think we'll hear? This week? Peter. It's okay. I don't want to rush the loan committee.
Why don't we hear from them now?
What?
I am the loan committee.
Really?
Your loan is approved.
Oh. That was quick.
With rates so low, now's the best time to buy your new home. Call 800-EASY-877 or ask your real estate agent about the Countrywide branch in your neighborhood. Countrywide. Easy. Really.
Step into the unknown to uncover the truth.
How big is big? Is it safe to go into the water? Are they killers? Should we be afraid?
Whatever it was, obviously was very large.
What should I believe? Do they really exist? Giant lizards, legend.
All your questions will be answered.
Mystery.
Into the unknown. Sea Serpent. Thursday at 10 Mountain, 9 Pacific, only on the Discovery Channel. Explore your world.
Explore.
Sidetrack. Saber-toothed reptiles, terror birds, giant sea predators, bizarre, never-before-seen prehistoric species come to life. Explore. Travel back in a virtual time machine as paleo experts explain what these creatures looked like, how they lived, and how they all eventually perished. Go inside the Extinction Files. Next Monday at 10 Mountain, 9 Pacific on the Discovery Channel. Explore your world.
As the science of aviation safety becomes increasingly sophisticated, the aircraft themselves are undergoing amazing leaps in technology. The cockpit of the future could be so easy to use that one day, personal aircraft may be as plentiful and commonplace as the automobile. Computers will lay out a virtual highway in the sky, and you will follow it as if you were behind the wheel of your family sedan. Military aircraft of today can go higher, further, and faster than ever before, and move in ways that would seem to defy the laws of physics. The implication of this technology for commercial aviation is a future that is simply boundless. The Concorde routinely flies at Mach 1, the speed of sound, over 700 miles per hour. The Air Force's SR-71 Blackbird can fly at Mach 3. The goal of NASA's high-speed civil transport is to create a commercial airliner that can move 300 passengers at the Blackbird's speed, over 3 times the speed of sound. And plans are in the works for transportation systems that can go even faster. The HyperX program is a demonstration of scramjet engine technology, a technology that can propel an aircraft at up to 8 times the speed of sound. At those speeds, a jet would be able to travel from Los Angeles to Tokyo in less than 40 minutes, enough time to have sushi for lunch in Tokyo and be back home for dinner. It will no longer be adequate to measure speed in miles per hour. These jets will be clocked in miles per second. Incredibly, one day, even greater speeds will be achieved through the marriage of rockets and aircraft.
Roger, rolling. There's new technology that's available, which is reusable high-performance rocket engines, and they make possible a whole new kind of flight vehicle.
If you have a true rocket plane, you get above the atmosphere, you don't have the drag of the atmosphere, and you can go a lot faster and literally go to where you want for no added cost.
I think at that point the real space age will begin, because what you've got here is a plane which actually goes into space on its way from one destination on Earth to another.
Some rocket planes will take off from airport runways. The Eclipse will be towed behind a transport plane to an altitude of 45,000 feet, where its rockets will ignite and thrust it into orbit. Other vehicles will be launched like rockets. The X-33 is a prototype for the new space shuttle, the Venture Star. The Venture Star will be the first fully contained, reusable launch vehicle. Unlike the current space shuttle or conventional rockets, it will require no external assistance to reach orbit and will have no external tanks to discard.
Perhaps 10 years from today, you might see passengers flying on these things. It would be possible to leave London at noon of a given day and get to New York City in time for breakfast of the same day, because you would get there before you left.
People have views that we can only dream about. Views of seeing the sky turn dark and seeing the bands on the horizon, seeing the glow of the re-entry when you come back in.
You would be in zero gravity. You could let your pen go and it would float around the cabin in front of you. And if you looked out the window, the sky would be black in the daytime. You get the same view of space that astronauts would get.
And Tango, where are you guys at?
Since I was little, I was reading books about going to the space station, seeing 2001 Space Odyssey, making it look like space travel or commercial travel into space would be a possibility. And it really exists. We can really do it. We just have to set our minds to do it.
The challenge for commercial airlines is not only to move people at fantastic speeds across the globe, but to move them efficiently, comfortably, and safely. To compensate for the sheer number of planes in the sky, scientists have turned to a blended wing body design that can carry over 1,000 passengers. The blended wing design has actually been in existence since the dawn of aviation, although today's designers are pushing the concept beyond the early aviators' wildest dreams. The airport of the future will be created on the computer using virtual technology. Planes will take off and land well before the first shovel breaks the ground. Computers are already controlling planes in the air traffic facilities and from the towers of the future, never making mistakes. Human factors and human decision-making strategies are being built into the machines that will aid tomorrow's air traffic controller. But will these advances in science enable controllers to keep up with increases in air traffic? Or will the shockwave of technology leave the human element in its wake?
Every year the volume of air traffic increases, but every year new technology makes that volume a little easier to handle. We may reach the day when the volume is so heavy that even technology that we now have or an increase in the number of controllers won't make a difference. And then we may have to rely on computers instead of human beings to control the traffic.
You could, in fact, in theory, automate the air traffic control system. You also, in theory, could automate the flying of aircraft and have pilots or airplanes with no pilots.
The year is 2021. A business traveler from New York passes through an automated security portal and joins 900 other passengers aboard an aircraft bound for Japan. In a moment, the computer on the ground issues a clearance to the computer in the cockpit, and the aircraft is thrust into an orbital trajectory. The autopilot activates a sign indicating the passengers are now free to float about the cabin as the aircraft cruises at a brisk 13,000 miles per hour. Momentarily, the aircraft re-enters the atmosphere, floats through the clouds, and lands safely and softly in Tokyo less than 45 minutes later. The passenger has come to take these trips quite for granted. After all, there hasn't been a commercial airline fatality in the last 20 years. Will this air traffic control scenario of the future ever become a reality?
I don't think the skies can become fully automated. I think if we had a fully automated air traffic control and a fully automated cockpit in an aircraft, I probably would stay in my boat.
I travel a couple times a week, and I feel very, very comfortable with the fact that there are pilots up in front of the airplanes and that there are air traffic controllers operating the system.
For now, the commercial air traveler can take comfort in the fact that while they're cruising at 35,000 feet, there will always be people with both feet planted firmly on the ground, watching them, watching the sky.
Wednesday, with all the sophisticated weapons and technology readily available to criminals, police are making use of tomorrow's high-tech tools today. From fingerprints to night vision devices, the cops get ahead. Wednesday on Discover Magazine.